To me, hybrid will always have a very dang special place in my heart. They tested me, they pushed me to things I believe I could have never done. The support system is fantastic. Like if you ask everybody like how's the support system there, because I know sometimes get intimidated by being such a big room of like mixed talent where it'd be like already, seasoned wrestlers to like newbies or to even people that have been a couple months who've like already kind of started learning the ropes, that everybody there is there to help you. And that's I believe what makes hybrid stand out. It's just everybody there wants the best for you. And when you make even if like a small accomplishment, they'll congratulate you. So it keeps you motivated to strive to something even bigger. And we're just like a whole melting pot. I like to say we're always there's like, hey, can you help me out with this? Can you help me out with that? Everybody says yes. Like if we have time, we'll make time for you. Like we just want the best for every single person in there. Like, and that's just what strives you, makes you better.
Okay, Diego Rene was our first episode for Crash Course this season, and we're bringing in someone who's still fairly recent with learning how to do things in the wrestling business. We have Sky Blackwell here on the program. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Being in hybrid for more than a year, what was your first impressions of just coming into hybrid before even stepping in as a student in the school?
Man, it's been a journey, I'll tell you that. I was super nervous on my first day. I was just like, I got there super early. I was waiting in my car and I was just like I was super anxious. That was like something I've been really wanting. Um, I wasn't too sure what I was expecting, to be honest. I just kind of went in there, probably just trained, wrestle, and that's it. But I never thought I would have such meaningful connections with people. And just stepping in there is just a whole different experience. Everybody's super helpful, super nice. And they really push you to be the best version of yourself every single day.
So, of course, like it took time to learn all of the basics. Are you a fast learner, or you have to really just be taking your time and understanding just at least the concepts of how to be in a professional wrestling setting?
Me personally, like it takes me, I wouldn't say I'm a super fast learner, but once I get a couple reps in, like I have it. Other people, like with this business, you don't have the the thing's gonna kill with this is trying to compare yourself to everybody else. And some
Okay.
people learn fast, some are quick, learn fast, or they, a couple reps in like me to get it in. You just have to listen to your own body and listen to, take a deep breath and kind of keep going with it. Me personally, I just get some reps in and I'm in. But everybody has a different journey and you don't have to compare yourself to everybody else.
I'll ask this though. What was your first bump like?
I was not expecting it. Like I just landed on my butt. Now everybody was just like, we were just staring at each other. I'm just like, was that it?
It's over.
It's over. That was it. I wasn't so much afraid of going down. I was just like, I hope I hit it right. I hope I don't just like, get some breath out of my chest. But honestly, once I hit that first bump, I just wanted more. Like it's just like amazing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
That's
I
the first time
wanted
I've
more.
heard
I was
that.
like, what up? I was like, what other bumps we're learning today? Can we do a handstand bump today?
But like with each and every time that you guys go through your training days, how has the physical aspect of it improved on your personal well-being? Because oftentimes with wrestling, it's a very physically tolling sport. But for you to go through each and every single day, how did that really improve yourself on a physical scale in your own personal life?
Honestly, it changed my life for the better. I came into the school weighing a bit over 205 pounds. As of
Okay.
now, I weigh 170 pounds.
Okay.
I lost a lot of weight. It just completely changed my life. I've never thought I'd be doing these things ever in my life. Um, but it is very demanding. Every day you wake up hurting, but
Yeah.
to me, that's like the best thing ever. It means like I've done my best and I'm ready for more. I'm ready for my body to get more hurt. It just pushes you to be the best version of yourself. And I don't know, just seeing what you can do every single day, improving your body, improving, that mentality that you want it a lot more. Like that's just something I strive for. And, I'm don't care that my body's hurting. I'm just ready to get back in there and become the best version of myself.
Wow. Okay, that's good. And what I was thinking, because especially a lot of the coaches have had a lot of time, and Diego mentioned working alongside everybody, and knowing that every single one of you guys some have some sort of common ground during those training days. How did that help you really improve yourself working in a school like hybrid?
So the thing about hybrid is that we're all there to make each other the best version of ourselves possible. We all have the same goal. We want to make it big somewhere. We want to make a name for ourselves, either be in the indies or everybody's biggest dream is to get signed somewhere. And that drive just makes us become better. And if we see somebody having a bad day or somebody's not their usual self, we're always there's like, hey, if you need anything, we're here. Or even like once we have some of the newer people come in, we're always like telling them of our experience. Like we all started where you are, so don't feel alone.
Mm.
We've all been through what you have. If I'm dying and if we're all like dying, it's like we're dying with you. Like we're on this
Yeah.
together. It's just not you. So that's one of the best things I love about hybrid is that you don't feel alone. You don't feel like you're the odd one out just because you had you know some people come in with so much gym experience, with like they do weights and stuff, and other people just come in that haven't, been stepped in the gym in a couple months. And that was me. I would go to the gym every once in a while, but I wasn't as dedicated as I am now. But they never made me feel that I was lesser than them, and that's what I love about hybrid.
I see.
Okay.
So, especially with each of the lessons that you've done, whether it's just learning your character work, learning new moves, what was the one that really stood out to you? And will that be something that you can use when you do go out there and start working the wrestling scene?
That really, just everything that I've experienced at Hybrid really makes me want to, push my character. I use all the experiences, everything that has gone through, like would be advised or bad days and all that. It just really helps me develop my character. It makes me be like, this is who I want to be. And then, when I help out at shows or I go anything and I see people like eventually work on their character, and it's like, you know what? I like that. I see what they are. I see who they really are when they step into that ring. And, that's what I strive to be. I just want to be the best that I can be. And like everybody at school just drives me to be the best. And anytime I have a question about that, they're always there to help me out. And, I'm always eternally grateful for that.
What's like a specific one though? Is there a specific lesson that kind of stuck with you during your time while you're still learning?
Um, a lesson that kind of stuck with me too is I remember, I think it was I was like a couple months in, and honestly, cardio was really kicking my butt. And
Okay.
like, it was really kicking my butt. I kept pushing through every day, but at the end of the day, you always have that little voice in the back of your head saying, you can't do it. Like, it sucks.
Yeah.
Like, you have to give up. But no, and everybody kept checking up on me because they kind of see my self-esteem kind of going down a little bit, or they saw that I wasn't as
Yeah.
pushing as much. No, they all had a talk with me and they kind of gave me the talk that I just said, we all started somewhere. I was there in your shoes. Like,
Hmm.
you got this. And ever since then, I know I have such a good support system that there's no reason for me to give up because there's always somebody there cheering me on. Even if I don't see it physically, I just know that they want the best for me. And ever since then, that's just something that helps me push through the day, knowing that I have such a great support system in my back.
Yeah, because I should have mentioned this on the last episode. To have a lot of, let's say, a lot of the guys who are working in like the WWEs in the world, the TNAs of the world, to have these specific seminars for you guys. How did that really help you guys to really know how you're doing in your time in hybrid?
So with the seminars, they are a blessing, but also
Okay.
they're a little scary. I am not gonna
Oh,
lie.
okay.
Cause because some of us we just kind of get like I wouldn't say like thrown in there, but we kind of get like eased in there, and we could try some things that we never thought we would do. Be like, everybody, we're doing monkey flips, we're doing this all this other crazy stuff. Everybody's just kind of staring at each other, just like, yeah, we're gonna die today. But I love it because it does. How do I say? It does make you see what you can do. You see them
Okay.
doing it, and you're just like, I can't do that. as long as, and then as soon as you walk in there and they, whoever's running the seminar guides you and, everybody's like super supportive because they want you to do that move. Like, and you do it, you get up, you're just like, that was it. Like, why was I stressing about this? Like, it's like the best thing ever. But it also kind of gives you a push to see like where you have to be like mentally and physically because it is a very demanding business. And if you don't have that mindset that you want it, that's just kind of, it's going to break you at some point and you have to remember the real reason why you're here. But these seminars just kind of keep a balance between the mental and the physical aspect of the business.
What's the seminar that stood out to you?
The seminar that I remember, I think I did it with Cinto de Oro. We had a Cinto de Oro seminar.
Oh my god!
And
Okay,
and I'm not gonna.
That's lucha. Hold on, that's lucha.
Yeah.
So first, he's a luchador. I'm sure this is your first time seeing like how lucha wrestling is made, at least on the behind the scenes level.
Yeah.
What was that like? Learning something new with Cinto de Oro.
Oh man, I'm not gonna lie. It was a little scary because once you stepped in that ring, it was super intimidating because I was still in like kind of like in more like the beginners ring, like the first ring that you step in, and after after you do your cardio and all that, it was my first seminar, so I was barely starting to learn how to do rolls, how to do basically all your basics like that you need to do, and then this man pops in and he's like, we're doing all these flips, we're doing all this lucha stuff. And I'm just like, hold on, sir. It's like, I just learned how to do a front roll. Like, I'm going to be doing all these flips. It's crazy.
Okay.
but no, like, it was super intimidating. Like, but once I got in there and we talked and all that, like, he was super helpful. He pushed, my fears away. As soon as I got in there, I got a couple of reps in. I had like a blast. I remember I did a whole monkey flip. I did all these crazy stuff. And I was just like, I did that. That is crazy. And doing that made me like, you know what? I need to stop doubting myself. I can do all these super cool things. Like, it did push me to become, to learn more and not be afraid because honestly, I can be a little bit afraid of learning new things. But once I get it done, I'm just like, I want to do more. What was that?
So we'll see you at 540 down the line. That's what it means.
Oh, heck yeah. Well, maybe let's see. Let me get a flip in real quick and I'll get back to
you. So, of course, like, out of the basics and learning, all the lessons that you've done, of course, there will be some practice matches, and how much of what you've learned really paid off, at least doing these simulation matches and knowing that it's not a show. You know what you're doing with what your basics are. What was it like seeing all that work that you're doing on these tiny lessons pay off in these like little practice matches?
It's really amazing. I'm not gonna lie, because you get to see yourself, all like the little bits and pieces that you learn, throughout your whole training journey. Because I could do something that I've learned a couple months ago, and then I was just like, you know what, I can do that. And then also you're so excited to try this super cool move you just learned like yesterday. It's like, you know what, let's try it. And then everybody there's like really, how do I say? They really want you to showcase what you can do best, and they're really going to work with you. And it's just amazing seeing from, day one you stepped into the ring to like having a full-blown practice match, and you can see what you can do. You see your potential. The match is not completely the cleanest or completely like the 5-star banger that everybody wants to have at some point, but it does motivate you to be like, I have this. I just need to work on the, it's bits and pieces. But to me, going back and seeing what I can do better, it just pushes me. It's like, one day I'm going to have this match, either be on a hybrid show or a different promotion. But it just, I don't know, it just excites me personally. It just makes me excited and for the future, because this business means a lot to me ever since I was a child. And seeing stuff I saw on TV that I can do, it just lets up a whole smile in my face. And that's what just keeps pushing me to, keep trying to do different things and keep doing practice matches. Because honestly, when they say it's like, hey, we're having practice matches tonight, I'm just like, yes, like I get to try all these new things and, become 1% better than I was last time.
We talked about it prior to recording that you haven't done a debut yet. What are you looking forward to on your first hybrid show? I'm
just excited to make a name for myself and just step out and, because the people there have seen me. I'm always there on camera and be like, it's crazy. Oh my God, that's the camera girl. I'm like, what the heck? Like,
Oh, okay. So you're
I'm
just
gonna have
like
like a whole
you're
book.
defying all expectations.
They'll be like, oh my gosh, she's not behind the camera tonight. She's actually gonna go kick some butt. I always tell myself, I was like, they're gonna be like, oh my God, it's a camera girl.
Yeah. But
But
it does sound like it's like you're defying expectations because oftentimes, and Calientita was on before, and she started off as a ref, and now that she's broken barriers for her to start working on her own, but for you to just at least break that stereotype, let's say stereotype that you are the person behind the camera and actually doing matches on your own, that would be cool to at least break that barrier for you to say, hey, I'm going to debut at Hybrid as a wrestler, not the person behind the camera.
yeah, and it's just gonna be a whole different character,
Yeah.
out there, I'm just the person that I am. But once I step out those curtains, it's Sky Blackwell. It's no longer that camera person,
Yeah.
blocking your view. I'm just kidding. I was like, I'm out there actually going to give you a show this time.
I am part of the action now, not behind
Yes.
the camera.
Yeah.
So I was gonna ask this too because so we've seen each other on camera. I do a lot of the photography, but working on production, and was that something that you would like to do even before having your debut over on Hybrid?
Honestly, it just came in like out of the blue. I'm always down to try all these different aspects. I remember when they needed me, it's like, hey, blah blah blah, this happened. We saw it on camera, and you're always like there, and you're always trustworthy. I trust you to take care of this. And I was just like, yeah, let me give it a shot, and not be so bad.
Right.
Literally, the first time I did it, I completely fell in love with it. Like it was the
Oh,
best thing
good,
ever.
good.
It's to me, it's one of my other passions right now. Like every time I get a gig for production, I'm just like, where we going? What we doing? What we filming? Like
Aw.
it just gets me excited. Like it's like the best thing ever. Like I mean, I did do some photography, some videography like in high school, but that was it. It wasn't like super serious. But
Yeah,
um no, once I started taking care of the camera, like it gave me a whole different perspective of the business too. Like I get to
that's
see
good.
people's hard work. I know the angles, I know what to look out for. And to me, when I do camera work, I I strive myself to make them look amazing. Cause if hopefully when somebody kind of like steps up for me when I move on, they knew how much that meant to me because I made them look good, or they kind of see like the work
Yeah,
that I do. Because to me, the production, we trying to make everybody look amazing, whether it be a heel
yeah,
or a base. Like we're trying to make that match just look like a blockbuster movie.
yeah. Because working with Waldo, I mean, shout out Waldo. Waldo's been helpful to what I'm doing too. So I props to him for putting everyone here on this episode over. Working with Waldo, and I'm sure he has his quirks and making production unique to whatever the show that you guys are on. How much lessons have you've learned in production when you're starting to go behind the camera?
I honestly learned a lot of lessons. Waldo, he took me under his wing, um, and he taught me everything I need to know from, equipment to why we do this and why we set it up a certain way, even from to running cables. Basically, like if I were to run up, like I could probably run the production by myself at this point from what I know, like from
Oh,
setting
humble
up.
brag over here.
Yeah, I'm just like I've been there. Like
All
I'm always
right.
there setting up, or I'm over there like it could be outside, and
Okay,
I'll be
okay,
sweating. I've got all my wires going. It's like you have to connect this here and all that. But
okay.
like I just know the odds and ends of it, and that makes me happy because I know another side of wrestling that a lot of people kind of overshadow. People,
Okay.
wrestling and everything is great. You get to see that lots of hard work not doing that, but not a people notice the people behind the scenes that make them look amazing. Whether it be photographers, the people recording the shows, the creativity behind everything. Like that is a big thing that makes wrestling the way it is for the people behind the scenes that make it. That's our job to make them look good. And if you love your job, it makes you happy to see them look amazing on TV or or photographies. And then, when I wanted to give you that little shout out, be like, oh, this person recorded me or this took my picture. It just, I don't know, it just makes you happy.
Yeah, because when the debut shows up and you're starting out on the ring on your own, how much is production going to be factoring in when you do debut at Hybrid, knowing that you know what the ins and outs of production are? How will that be an impact when you do debut at Hybrid?
To me, it's gonna be like I already know what to look out for. Like I know where the hard camera is. I know how to work it.
Okay.
I know how to look for the roamers. How to like basically just know how to work the camera. Like
Okay.
because when out there recording and I have my headset on, Waldo directing me is like, oh, do this, do that. Like I just already know how to pull off a movie because I just know the odds
Yeah.
and ends of production, and also we know how to look out for how do I say, like not photographers, but kind of just see like where the vibe is, kind of read the room a little bit because a lot of people, stepping in the ring, they're a little bit nervous on how to work the camera. They probably look the other way or they look at the camera, they just kind of like freeze a little bit. Like I've seen that happen. They just look at the camera, they just stare at me kind of like wide eye for a little bit and they kind of go back to what they were doing.
Like, what are
And
you
I'm just like,
doing?
sir, keep going. I need an amazing shot. Keep rolling. But knowing, I worked production for a good while, um, it's really going to improve me trying to sell myself, in the ring, maybe my character work or trying to get some really like really good shots. But I'm blessed to have worked in production, so I can finally put that to use, so I can make myself look great when it's my time to shine.
Okay, Waldo has his saying whenever there's camera work. What was your what did we learn moment?
Waldo is an interesting character, I will tell you that. And one of the things I love about him is that when it comes to women's wrestling, he wants them to be
Okay.
shown as, strong women and not just, just women being women. One of the things that always got me, it's like no butt shots, guys. Come on, no boots, no booty.
Oh,
He's just like, guys, like, he's like, no butt. It's like, and I'm just like, I'm sorry. And he's like, because he wants to make the women look good. And that's always the lesson that always got to me. I was like, gotta work the angles for everybody. That was just like one of those lessons. It's like, it was super funny. He still screams it in the mic. He's like, guys, move the camera. There's a butt. There's a butt. And I'm just like, but, and I'm just like, what are you talking about? I was like, is that me or is that, my, my other camera, my fellow cameraman, Jay Fly? Like, we're always like, is that me or is that him? Or like, but some of those lessons that just kind of stuck with me, like, it's just a funny thing. We can still have a joke about it, but yeah, we can also kind of fix about like what we're doing with our camera
yeah.
work. But that's one of those lessons it's one of those funnier ones that just kind of stuck with me. I just kind of hear it like every once in a while, mostly when I'm recording myself, and I'm just like, oh yeah, no, but.
Yeah, I was at Spark. We were all in that one show, and whenever someone has their back to, I'm literally like, "Is I have my camera?" I'm like, "Oh, no, look that way, look
No,
that
gotta go the other way. Or try to find an angle in that angle, but not that angle.
I need to find something that isn't their back. I'm like, all right, turn around, turn around.
Yeah.
But like, with I was gonna ask this too, like having with Waldo having that production, how much of that has been improving on your own camera work over the past few months?
Man, like it's grown over time because every time we do a show, like he directs the way that he sees it and I learn from it. Like I remember my
Mm-hmm.
first ever show, I was like super nervous because I got to hold one of those big fancy cameras and not compared to like a something, like a camera phone or something like that. I got like an
Yeah,
actual like
it's
professional
a
dang
rig.
camera. It is a dang rig and I'm just like, what
Yeah,
the hell am I gonna do with this? Like it's
yeah,
crazy. But no, he was super helpful. He guided me the whole time. I think he's like, you did really good for your first time. And I was just like, okay, I'll take that as a compliment because I thought I sucked. Because I was just like, it was so heavy. And I was just like, I don't know if I can keep doing this. But no, I had like a blast through the whole show. Like I was making them look good. And I got to enjoy the show as well, but also trying to focus on them, focus on making them look great. But as time went
yeah.
on, I learned, oh, don't do this, here's that. And then what also helped me a lot too is, go back and watch one of your favorite matches because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes your one of your favorite matches has some of these great camera angles that make you go like just blows your mind. And I'm just like, you know what?
Yeah,
I'm gonna try that next time if I have like a moment that kind of just is similar to that, and you apply that to your camera work. And then usually when I do that, I have some of the most amazing shots, and I hear Waldo through my headset to be like, "Amazing job, Jazz," and I was like, "Thank you."
there you go, there you
Mhm.
go. So, we're close to wrapping up, but um, being that this series is focused on hybrid school of wrestling and being here for more than a year, just learning the ins and outs of wrestling alone, to the ones who are watching or who are listening wherever they may be, whether it's on YouTube or wherever someone gets their podcasts. Hype us up on Hybrid. What makes Hybrid such a special school here in the state of Texas?
To me, hybrid will always have a very dang special place in my heart. They tested me, they pushed me to things I believe I could have never done. The support system is fantastic. Like if you ask everybody like how's the support system there, because I know sometimes people get intimidated by being such a big room of like mixed talent where it'd be like already, seasoned wrestlers to like newbies or to even people that have been a couple months who've like already kind of started to learn the ropes, that everybody there is there to help you. And that's, I believe, what makes hybrid stand out. It's just everybody there wants the best for you. And when you make, even if like a small accomplishment, they'll congratulate you. So it keeps you motivated to strive to something even bigger. Um, and we're just like a whole melting pot. I like to say we're always there's like, hey, can you help me out with this? Can you help me out with that? Everybody says yes. Like if we have time, we'll make time for you. Like we just want the best for every single person in there. Like, and that's just what strives you makes you better. Like we all have our good days, we all have our bad days, but being there together, like I consider them my family. Like I'm there all the time. Like I'm never home. They're my family. And you know, just being there just makes me want to become the best person. And anybody who steps in there, like, even if like one day there, they'll get to feel all the love and all the energy that we want to push ourselves to become the best version of ourselves. And that's what I think hybrid is they'll put, you come in with maybe no expectations or afraid of what's going to happen. But no, once you step in there, hybrid's going to, I say, take you by a headlock and they're going to make you become the best person you can be. And I feel like that's what makes hybrid is just the people in general. They want to see you succeed.
Okay. If you can describe your journey so far in one word, what would that be?
Man, one word. um, I would say empowering.
Okay.
Empowering.
Okay.
To me, the reason why it's so empowering is because when I stepped in there, I just didn't know what to expect. I was very self-conscious. I was very shy. I remember really wouldn't like talk to anybody. I mean, I would, but I wouldn't be out of my way, be like, hey, what's up, guys? Or, I was kind of still kind of in my shell a little bit. I would just go in there, do the work, say hi and bye, but not really like get in there, I would say. Um, but seeing everybody get better every single day,
Okay.
either be like getting booked at a new promotion or them hitting a move they've been trying to work on for like weeks or people moving up rings or just anybody making success, like it just made me feel like, what, if they can do it, I can do it. And then seeing them being happy, be like, man, like all of us are growing together, like it just makes me
That's
want to
good.
become the best version. Hmm.
Okay, awesome. So we have two more guys from Hybrid that are going to be discussing their experiences at the Hybrid School of Wrestling, and this is fun. This is fun. Thanks for having you on Sky
Yeah, of course.
on this episode of Crash Course.
Thank you for having me. It was a blast having talking to you.
There you go. There you go. So we have two more episodes left on Crash Course, and if you are tuning in on YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts, tune in for the next episode of Crash Course, and we'll be on to the next one.